Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Twisted Metal 4 Part 5 as the Joneses. This time around we're going to a maze. It's supposed to be Minion's maze, but they just call it the maze this time around because it's, I don't know why, it's just a maze. I don't know, was Minion even supposed to be here? I think he was. So going for this pretty demonic looking maze, there's like stone walls everywhere, and they have these faces carved into these bearded demon looking faces into them. This is obviously the kind of place Minion would want to live, right? You remember Minion? We've seen him in every game so far up to this point, and this game is no exception of having a fight with Minion. In the first game he was the final boss, and we put a big fight. We managed to defeat him and win that tournament. Then we saw him again in Amazonia and Twisted Metal 2, which was a little bit of a pushover there, but he was still somewhat menacing. Twisted Metal 3 was a complete total nightmare simply because, well, he always goes for the Helfer Pills just like all the other average contestants. That kind of made him a bit of a challenge, but he was still somewhat easy to beat if you know what to do, and depending which contestant you're playing as. But in Twisted Metal 4, well, we're going to see what he's like in Twisted Metal 4. See, we're in this underground section right here. We can see stained glass windows that have the faces of Sweet Tooth, Mr. Grimm, Minion, and of course Calypso, because who else would be in the underground place? Because we all know that Mr. Grimm is pretty much the secondary main character of Twisted Metal. If there is Twisted Metal supposed to have a second main character, it would totally be Mr. Grimm. He's in on pretty much every game. He always has a mission to, pretty much snatch everyone's soul, because he's addicted to souls, and not just any old souls, special souls, like the real worthy souls. Apparently Calypso's souls, like that, which is why he wanted to eat Calypso's soul in Twisted Metals 1 and 3. So Drag Queen is, kind of getting revenge on Drag Queen for what he did to us in the previous level, and so we pretty much got his health reduced just a mere little sliver, or he could, kill him easy, which is exactly what we're going to do. We can just ram into him at this point. He's pretty much dead, like that. He's dead. We set him on fire and he's dead. So yeah, and so that's actually Safety Zone 2, which actually makes you safe from the environmental attack, which we'll be seeing somewhat shortly. There's some sort of demonic looking eye that's painted on something, or it's like staring down on us too. And I don't know where in the world this is supposed to be. Is this like in Transylvania or somewhere like that? I don't know. It looks kind of freaky, everything, as there's like heads screaming at you and stuff like that. It also looks like something out of Harry Potter almost. It looks so like low tech. It's probably Transylvania or Romania or somewhere like that, or maybe Bulgaria or something that's in the back considering where this place looks. It almost looks like we may have went back to evil times almost, maybe. But I don't think that's the case. It also looks like snow too, but I'm not really sure if this is snow or not. This game's supposed to be set in wintertime. Well, if it was set when the other Twisted Metals were set, it would be wintertime, December 24th. And they're all set on Christmas Eve, because Twisted Metal is held on Christmas Eve. I'm not sure if that's the case of this game. I don't know. I don't even know where in the world we're going to most of the time this game. So they kind of figured, screw it. We're not going to bother to tell our contestants where in the world they're racing. Kind of like in Wipeout 3, where it doesn't say where in the world you're racing. I don't know, maybe they thought, we don't want to alienate people in other countries, or we don't want to, do safe stuff like that. I don't know what was going through their minds when they decided to take world touring stuff out of games. And so there's Goggle Eyes, and easily to be defeated by the Auto Lock, which is the best weapon in the game. We're about to see in this level why it is such an awesome weapon. We can destroy pretty much every regular contestant in 1 or 2 hits. That even does a lot against the boss. A lot of the bosses get easily destroyed by the Auto Lock. I'm not sure I used it on Thumper. I don't think I used it on Super Thumper earlier on. So Orbital's down to a mere sliver. We try to get to him, and oh, look at that. We just got frozen by. Look at that. It's Goggle Eyes in his big van, this big toxic van, but he's not going to stand much of a chance against us because we can just blow him away easy like we just did there. You notice I overuse a shield. That is really cool technique, or if you activate the shield when you're near someone and drop one of those bombs, those remote bombs, and immediately detonate, you won't get injured at all because you have a shield on, but they will get a lot of damage. Because the good thing about the shield is that the enemies in this game don't really use a shield. I'm not sure if the enemies, well, okay, sometimes they do use a shield. I have seen the enemies use the shields sometimes this game. They don't seem to like to use it a lot, which is actually kind of good on our part. Road Trip Vacation 2012 is the enemies use the shields all the time. I don't know how to use a shield in that game, and they use it all the time, which gives you them an unfair advantage over the human player, which is kind of unfair, really, but that's how a lot of these games are. Like Twisted Metal 2, it said the enemies in that game had unlimited specials, but they don't in this game, which is, pretty good on our part. But yeah, I do use a shield. A lot of shields probably is the best special move you get in this game, which it really works well for that trick I showed you with the remote bombs. So you see here, we're driving over more of this toxic green stuff where you get fire on it because it spreads all over. I just got hit by Warthog's Ion Blast, which might be the most powerful special weapon in the game, and Warthog is really strong. So again, it's breaking that rule, that tradition where the weak enemies have really strong specials, or that the strong enemies have weak specials. They picked up that auto lob again, so we know it does a lot against Warthog and pretty much any other contestant in this game. Look, we're glued to the walls again. Apparently the walls must be made out of magnets or something like that. The walls in this game must be magnets. They probably have the physics in this game. You constantly get stuck to walls in this game. There's so many walls in this game. This game probably has more walls than any of the other previous Twisted Metal games did. But there at the same time, there's barely any parts of this game where you could fall off the ledge and fall to your death in a bottle. So there aren't very many moments like that in this game. Same with the original Twisted Metal. I think there was only like one level in the original Twisted Metal, if I remember correctly, where you could fall off the edge, and it was the last level. This game barely has any of that, but Twisted Metal 2 had a lot of levels like that. Same with Twisted Metal 3. Well, actually, no, I don't think Twisted Metal 3 had very many levels like that either, but yeah, 989 seemed to like to put levels filled with bottomless pits where you easily fall to your death easy. But maybe that was good for them on their part. There's only 3 more enemies left, and of course, as I said before, they don't all spawn out at once, I don't think. I think some of them actually appear later after you kill some of them. It's like that regeneration thing that they introduced in Twisted Metal 3. It's very well alive and well, and it's in this level. Even though we're playing at a slightly harder difficulty setting, it still doesn't like to give us all the enemies all at once. That's why I don't even notice a lot of them all at once. When I was using that special environmental attack earlier, it didn't really destroy Mr. Zombie. I mean, Mr. Zombie found a health pickup somewhere. Mr. Zombie's probably the only character in Twisted Metal that's directly based on an actual person. He's supposed to be Rob Zombie, because all of his music appears in this game, but you wouldn't know that because I can't use any of his music in this game, and that's because it's copyrighted, so if I put it in the game and I'm going to get copyrighted, I won't be able to monetize any of my videos. So that's why I replaced it with music from Twisted Metal 1, 2, and Jet Moto. It's mostly music from Twisted Metal 2, and I used a few music songs from Twisted Metal 1, and only used one from Jet Moto so far in this Let's Play. So I think Twisted Metal 2 music actually fits this game. I think Twisted Metal 2 is the best soundtrack in the Twisted Metal series. It's so epic and cool sounding, and it really just fit the car combat theme, which is what the theme, the frills of car combat, which is exactly what this game is supposed to do. I find some of the music in this game exactly fit the game that well. I don't know, this game actually has my least favorite soundtrack. It's pretty almost none of this game's soundtrack is original. It's mostly all music from for actual bands and artists, and most of them are bands and artists that didn't make it big. Sure, I mean, there's Rob Zombie and White Zombie music in this game, but as other bands and artists didn't make it big. There's Ghoul Spoon, and there's Ghoul Spoon, there's Scold, there's 1 Minute Silence, and there's also Cypress Hill, but I think Cypress Hill is actually somewhat famous. I think they actually made it big at one point, so I don't know, I wouldn't really call them an obscure band. And again, define obscure, I don't know, some people consider some things to be obscure, and some people don't consider everything to be obscure. Some people consider Nintendo games to be obscure, or rare, or not very commonly well known. So now it's boss time. We're going to fight against Minion. Look out behind you, my old buddy Minion is back on your trail. Play smart, or he'll make short work of you. Yeah, that's what Calypso said in Twisted Metal 3, and that very well applies to what we're doing here. Minion is going to make short work of us for sure, so that's why I have to stock up on weapons. Then again, it's kind of a pushover sometimes. Sure, his special weapon's the same special weapon as it's always been since Twisted Metal 2, when you can play as him in Twisted Metal 2, because Twisted Metal 2 is the first game we could actually play as Minion. You couldn't play as Minion in the original Twisted Metal, unless you use some sort of cheating device or something like that, but he was a playable character in Twisted Metal 2, 3, and now this one, Twisted Metal 4. He's actually quite different. I actually give them credit for that too. I didn't just reuse his model from Twisted Metal 3, which they could have done, and they could have just reused his model from Twisted Metal 3, but they didn't. They made a completely new model for Minion in this game. It actually looks pretty good, actually. It actually looks even more demonic, more scary and creepy and eerie kind of thing. It actually fits Minion perfectly. It's probably his best physical 3D model they've had in any game up to this point that he's ever had. It's actually the best one. It's in Twisted Metal 4. So again, I think these 989 people really did put a lot of effort into this game. I really do appreciate all the effort they put into this game. They made this game such an underrated masterpiece classic that is, and it constantly gets overshadowed by what people think are the better games. As I keep saying earlier, if there's Minion, we have enough to freeze Minion right there on the spot. Freeze, Minion, freeze. And look at that. That auto lob took out a quarter of his health. Let's fire another one at him. Look at that. It took out half of his health. Look at that, it took out 2/3 of his health right there. 2/3 of his health are gone because of what we were doing to him. He's almost as big as a pushover he was in Twisted Metal 2 in this game. And there, we pretty much will... we still got quite a lot of lives left. You have to really save up your lives in this game. This game saves a memory card. It actually remembers how many lives you leave off. So you run out of all your lives. You pretty much have to play through the whole game with the rest of the game with one life, which is good if you're a master. If you're not a master, it's going to be really challenging. It's actually something I don't like about this game is that it actually, like, you know, like, it makes you, like, it forces you to pretty much play to perfection pretty much, which is good if you're a master like me, but if you're not that good, you know, you're gonna really, you know, you're really gonna, you know, like fall back because of that, because of how this game works. That's part of how the game regulates difficulty too. Then again, so the game is somewhat easy when it begins overall. It gets harder and harder as you iterate through the game, as I mentioned before, when it compared to an 80s arcade game. So Minion is pretty much nearly dead. Now I just have his health down to a mere sliver. He could probably just be dead soon. We'll get finished off with speed missiles, because what else? What's better than destroying someone with speed missiles? Which are first introduced in Twisted Metal 3, and they continue in this game as well too. So there, we destroyed Minion. Possibly the easiest version of Minion we've seen to date. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.